Hello and welcome back to Card Spotlight. This week we're going to take a look at Underground Boss. This is probably one of the strongest creatures in the game right now. It gives so much Faeria back if you're able to trigger its combat ability, and with 5 life it's quite hard to remove outside of combat. Now this creature can gain multiple triggers with its combat ability with cards like Gift of Steel, and it can get in range of enemies with mobility cards like Silent Horsemaster and Kaleem's Training. So for this week's episode of Card Spotlight, we're going to take a look at 2 decks. We're going to take a look at the popular Red Control, which I believe is a tier 1 deck right now, but we're also going to take a look at S of Dawn and Superb Lizard's Combat Tortoise deck, so a bit of Gem Shell Tortoise in the mix for this week's episode. So let's get into the matches and see how these decks perform. Alright guys, into our first game. We're going to actually start off with Red Control, and then we'll save the best for last, you could say, with the Gem Shell Tortoise combat deck after we played a couple of games of this. Red Control is a very solid pick now if you want to play a deck Climb. And as you can see here, our opponent is also playing Red Control. Now, I must be honest guys, there's so much Red Control on the ladder. I played 4 matches earlier, and all of them were Red Control players, and I was playing something else at the time. And this also happened during Deck Pilot. I was playing Deck Pilot, and the Yak build from the Curious Sky Yak deck, as awesome as it is, if the ladder is full of Red Control, you don't want to be playing that deck. Anyway, so we have a good board starting off here. We have a Horsemaster to influence this guy here. We can take some value, gain a bit of a Faeria refund. And it looks like, oh, it's going to be a Firestorm. Interesting. Nice, very, very clean way to clear up here. But we have Cypher Blood Tyrant coming down. He is going right in front of this guy. So I'm demanding he has a Flame Burst to answer this. If he does have a Flame Burst, I could lose initiative, which is kind of sad. But that's kind of how Red Control works. It's kind of does everything right and efficiently because of the combat creatures. You know, gain 2 Faeria is very, very powerful. I talk about this in my article, which is in the description below. I did a whole article about Underground Boss and my kind of thoughts on the card and, you know, where it stands and why it's so powerful. So if you're interested in finding out more about this combat ability, check out that article. Does have the Flame Burst. Double Flame Burst. Very interesting. So that tells me that he doesn't have another creature in hand, which is awesome, because that means I can just go in the well here. And we've made a lot of mountains, both of us, but more so for positional reasons. You know, I want to be able to play my creatures in between the wells to stop any future creatures being developed here by my opponent. Eventually I can push up some double neutrals here if I need to, or just use Horsemaster to push my creatures into a better position. I imagine there's just going to be a trade here, and what's so amazing about this trade for me, it puts me up to 6 Faeria next turn where I can play Groundshaker. And as you can see, so he started the land block before me. And we just have a Groundshaker. Again, we're just going to block off. Now, we don't play this card. And the reason is, it's a little slow. I know this is Red Combat Control, which kind of probably sounds a bit weird. But the truth is, against other matchups, you probably don't want to play the Cap 10, or you don't want to draw it early on. You want to be able to apply pressure. And I think Cap 10, I think one of the big problems with the card is because it requires so many lands, if you draw it in the early game, it's such a bad draw. It's such a bad draw. Because you're not going to be able to play it without having to develop mountains. And Red Combat Control likes the flexibility of being able to develop neutral tiles, so Horsemasters can have more influence in the game. So having to just build mountains, just build your one guy, is not something Red wants to do. It wants to have that flexibility, not only with the power wheel for drawing cards, finding answers with removal, but also building those neutrals for mobility cards like the Silent Horsemaster. Now, if he hits into this, he will live with 1 life, and he will draw a Gift of Steel. Now, the Gift of Steel will be able to push this to a point where it can trade. He might actually just go for a Bomb Slinger. No Bomb Slinger, okay. Now, we could have Gift of Steel this preemptively. I actually decided against it. Now, we're the ones with all the removal. This is great. So, I kind of feel we can take a draw here. We want to find another creature to play soon. And we've already seen 2 Flame Bursts from our opponent and a Firestorm. And this matchup's all about resource management. It's about controlling the wells, starving your opponent of resources, and keeping initiative. And that's what I've done there with that double removal play. If he doesn't develop anything this turn, I have the luxury of maybe stepping here and double neutral in to make sure I can Horsemaster in the future. If he plays, say, a creature here, maybe a Grimguard to try and apply pressure, I can always Horsemaster down and take care of it. So Horsemaster, has a lot of applications in this deck, specifically because they don't have very good mobility tools within the red arsenal. There is the grappling hook, which is kind of a weird mobility tool. It's not very consistent, whereas Horsemaster, very, very good. So it's going to be a mountain, okay, and it's going to be a pass. So like I said, this gives us opportunities to develop double neutrals. Just gives us an avenue for next turn. Now, I can't really play anything safe from a Bomb Slinger. Could slot this back into double collection. I think that's fine because we have Horsemasters. We have a way to get to our orb if we need it, but we're at the point in the game now where both of us are going to try to apply pressure to the orbs and maybe initiate a race. Very much depends on what our opponent has. We've seen Firestorm. Another Firestorm would be decent, but you're not going to be able to play another creature to follow up, and I'll keep initiative if there's no creature already on board. Okay. I'm curious. I'm curious to see what comes down, to be honest. I'm pretty far ahead at this point. Not so much in Faeria, but on board. It's going to be a Ground Shaker with a Cypher's Wrath to clear up this Ground Shaker. So that's a pretty good answer. And the Ground Boss, very nice, but not quite what we need right now. And there we have it. So this gives us initiative back. Now I can go in for double collection. And this will allow me to set up maybe an aggressive boss next turn if it lives. And my opponent does use removal to take care of this. He's not developing a creature of his own. So again, things are passed over to me. I get to play a creature and we can go from there. And is it going to be a Brigand? It's going to be an Axe Grinder. So like I said, we're at the point of the game now where players like to initiate the race. What do I want to do? I have a Horsemaster. Horsemaster in, take care of this guy. I do want to apply pressure of my own. I like keeping the board clear, but the problem is I can't really develop anything else, so we can take a draw. And there's another Horsemaster. Maybe play this one aggressively. I can't put it into double collection spot, but if I put it here, I have the luxury of either taking collection or taking orb damage. So we are going to actually just play this one here. So if I need Faeria for next turn, I can just sneakily move over here, take the Faeria instead of taking the free damage. +1. Very nice. Okay, so this allows us to push damage this turn, and it allows us to set up an aggressive boss. Now, actually, let's take a moment here. So the boss gives us a lot more resources. We're going to be able to hit the orb and gain 2 Faeria back, basically making this a free cost. And every time we hit, the price we paid for this gets reduced. So that's going to be free damage every turn. have 6 damage with the boss and the Horsemaster, 9 damage with the Flame Burst. Now if I play the Grimguard, that represents 4 damage because his combat ability deals 2 damage to my opponent. So that's 7 damage, that's 10 damage, which means, well, Gift of Steel wins me the game either way. So I think Boss is actually fine. And I think the reason the Boss is better as well in this situation is because it'll allow me to gain additional Faeria without harvesting, which will give me the opportunity to play something like a Flame Burst and a Gift of Steel if I draw it. So if I was to draw Gift of Steel now, and I had played the Grimguard, I might have been 1 Faeria off, I believe. Gain 3, yeah, I would have been 1 Faeria off from lethal. So this gives me the best out for lethal, depending if I draw a Gift of Steel or if I draw a Flame Burst. Now, I'd be interested to see what our opponent does here. Might play defensively, might play aggressively and try and race, or might just concede and feel like the match is lost. So there we have it. We have a victory with red control, and that probably gives you a bit of an idea of how the matchup plays out, how important board control is, and how important it is to find those opportunities to apply pressure. Alright, into our next match. 1 victory so far. Let's see if we can get another. Oh, what an amazing hand. I guess we'll just throw away this guy. Now, we're going to play Axe Grinder on turn 1, but I kept the Horsemaster to make sure Axe Grinder can apply pressure in case we're going up against like a slow control deck. It's funny because Red Combat isn't really a control deck. It can kind of be a mid-range deck or a control deck depending on what you draw. So the Horsemaster here enables this deck to play very mid-range if it wants. So you can go like double neutral now, take the collection, and then next turn, if there's no real threat coming from your opponent, you can double neutral again and then Horsemaster the Axe Grinder right up. And apply a lot of pressure. But we do have Cypher's Wrath and Flame Burst. It's very nice. I think we'll take the Flame Burst on this one, and we'll play the Grimguard here to kill this frog. Now, I could have Flame Burst Cypher's Wrath, and I was thinking about it, but do I really want to spend 5 Faeria, play 2 cards for 1 Battletoad? If I can get value out of this Grimguard, I'd much rather do that. So we might see an Aurora come down, but Axe Grinder kills the frog quite nicely. And then if we pick up another creature like a boss or a brigand, we're in business. Oh, there's a Garadan. So I guess we play Horsemaster. We're going to take the Axe Grinder spot here, and then we'll play the Horsemaster as a double collector. So we're going to probably take lands next turn just to make sure this Horsemaster can double collect. And because we're playing against blue, it's very unlikely there's a way that this can be cleared. Oh, I spoke too soon. There's also a bit of red in this list as well. Oh, what a draw. So we take double collection. Just Cypher's Wrath this guy out the way. Now I could have waited for Garadan, I guess. But I might not want to play Garadan next turn. Starving our opponent of Faeria. Oh, there's a forest as well. Okay, so this could even be 3 wishes. And we also have an Axe Grinder draw. Interesting. I think I'm going to take a draw here. Yeah, I'll play this here. So I miss a Faeria, unfortunately, but I didn't really have anything to play. Bit of a clunky hand for this specific situation. Which is where the Garadan... Actually, the Garadan might have been nicer, because I could have mountained here, Garadan and killed the Aurora, and then I had a 6/6, applying a lot of pressure. Failed experiment, okay. Frog Tosser, that's a good answer. Actually takes care of the Axe Grinder instead of gaining value on the Horsemaster. Very interesting. I know there's Battletoads in this list, so I don't really want to play Garadan yet. Oh, it's a shame. So we'll just take another Horsemaster and we'll pass. So if another Frog Tosser was to come down, we could take Garrett on next turn. There was a failed experiment used. So that's, I guess that's why you hit the Axe Grinder, right? Because the Frog Tosser was going to die anyway. You Lani, so this is 3 wishes. Frog Tosser. I'd like to see more commitment to the board, but let's see if he respects my AoE. Looks like he will, which is fine. And we'll just go Gary in the middle. So Garadan in the middle gives you the most reach to influence the match. I can take Faeria if I want. I can push 6 damage. I can at least get to every tile on my opponent's side apart from... Oh no, I can get to every tile. So yeah, I can actually get everywhere. Which is very helpful. It's going to be a Skyak in the middle. Probably going to Bomb Slinger this. And a Battletoads. Maybe we don't Bomb Sling. I'm not sure. I might move and hit this and then Bomb Slinger this. And then go for the damage next turn. If I Mountain now on Bomb Sling, I push 6. Leaving him on 8. The Bomb Slinger's gonna die. Not sure about the Garadan though. I might just get Aurora'd. I'll lose initiative if he uses Aurora and clears. No, let's do it. Maybe I wanna. Maybe there's no reason to race just yet. He's 2 lands away from 3 wishes, so maybe I want to. I don't know. Let's take the more conservative approach. This gives me an opportunity to draw a card as well. So we'll just do this. Which is a bit odd, I think. Should I went for that? Maybe I should have got the Bomb Slinger in double collection. I kind of wanted to preserve the life of my Garadan, but I don't think it's gonna. I don't think that would matter. I'm not sure. Yeah, it didn't matter in the end. Cause now I'm Faeria starved. So yeah, I should have put that in the double collection. So that was a big mistake from me. Got a bit greedy on the life, and I don't even know why. red things. Skyax. Okay, this game is going to get a lot harder to win now. I think I may have had to take the damage. Yes, if I had taken the damage, maybe things would have been better. Sad times. I could have double collected, then played a Bomb Slinger, maybe. Let's clear this. I'm going to slot double neutrals in here, then I'm going to play this defensively. I don't want it to die to the Skyax. And I put the double neutrals in here to be able to get an aggressive land here if I wanted to try and finish the game out. The problem is 3 wishes is going to be really problematic for me. And Sky Whales. So yeah, this game is... I'm not sure how much influence over the match my poor decision had. I'm honestly not too sure. What would have been different? I guess I would have had more Faeria, but I would have still had to deal with the 2 Yaks. I think I think I had to go face. I think that was the problem there. I should have killed the Yak with the Bomb Slinger like I originally planned. Hit for 6, and then I would have had more options. Oh wow, Istanu, that's problematic. Istanu can get everywhere, which is a problem. It has so much reach. Like, if this wasn't Istanu, if this was any other creature, I could have mounted here and bomb slingered. Oh no, but then the whale can get there. So you can use the whale aggressively, then use the Istanu to clear up my board. It's not very helpful. Not with these yaks. These yaks are expendable, and the more that die, the better my opponent's decks become. So I feel that is actually lost. I don't think I can win from here. I'll play this. I don't want to clear. He just clears 6. Or maybe 6/6 clears this aggressive land into another creature. Let's see what he does. I probably lost this. I'm 100% certain I've lost this. Maybe I Garradand too preemptively. It's hard to actually read what your opponent can be playing, especially when like multiple colored lands come down. I think you can expect whales, but you could run anything else. Fugoro, Istanu, Tree of Life. And more Skyak. So yeah, we'll drop this as surrender, and that is going to be the end of red control. Let's move over to the other deck, the Gemshell combat deck, created by S of Dawn and Superb Lizard. Our first match with the Combat Tortoise, and I have played this deck a fair amount on stream. I played this before. I do enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. You don't need blue cards at the beginning. The blue cards are kind of like the support color for the deck. So you can start off with red. So start off with mountains first, get your red cards in hand, and then use your blue cards a little later on. And look, there he is, Underground Boss. Like I said, red, very, very popular right now. Gonna have 5 Faeria going to the next turn. Won't be able to land into Horsemaster. We're gonna pre-gift our Brigand here to challenge the boss. What I like to do with the lakes in this list is put them kind of in these spots, like in the middle here to connect the lands up. Gonna pre-gift as well. So we do have the Flame Burst, fortunately, to help us out. Could actually take Lake here instead. Okay, this could be a good opportunity to take a Lake, because we do have the Ancient Herald. And the nice thing about Herald is it procs on the Underground Boss. So we get a reduced Underground Boss, which gains Faeria when it goes into combat. So nice little synergy there. You also gain a reduction on the Gemshell Tortoise. A double Flame Burst? Wow, investment. Massive investment there. That was great for me. I'll take it. If he wants a Horsemaster, I want to force him to make this land. So actually I'm going to take this as a lake. We're just going to sit here and wait. Now what I don't understand... It's interesting because you could have double Flame Burst this to make sure I got no value from the combat trigger. But instead opted to double Flame Burst the Herald, which was in a double collection spot. So it was like paying... It's interesting because, to me, because with that line, you're double Flame Burst in an Ancient Herald to stop one Faeria, whereas the Brigand is more likely to gain more Faeria in its current state. So I would have personally preferred clearing out the Brigand there with the double Flame Burst. So I'm happy to take double collection. If this does run into me, I'll use Flame Burst to finish it off, or maybe even Firestorm. We'll take a Mountain here, then we'll go for a cheap Cypher. Cypher, another card getting cost reduced by the Ancient Herald, which is quite nice. Again, if a Horsemaster wanted to come down to make sure it could clear the Cypher, land needs to be built. So I'm building around the path for the Horsemaster. Firestorm Flame Burst is something I can do next turn. So I actually have a lot of removal in hand. I'm hoping we draw a Gemshell Tortoise. Now, one of the design choices for this list from S and Lizard was they wanted to play the Gemshell Tortoise and immediately use cards that they gained. So Gift of Steels, Flame Burst, Axe Grinders, Brigands. You know, they cost 0. That was the initial plan with the deck. Ground Shaker. So I can clear the board now with the Firestorm and the Flame Burst, and even play an Axe Grinder as well. So this actually gives us an opportunity to draw. There he is. Flame Burst here. Clear this guy out. Then I'll play the Axe Grinder here because I don't want to get Bomb Slingered. So Axe Grinder's only going to collect off this well anyway. If I was to play it here, gets Bomb Slingered. Here's a 4/1 then. You can slot into the middle on the next turn. So I don't mind this. I gain my 1 Faeria. Ooh, Grappling Hook. That could be handy. So next turn I have a guaranteed Tortoise, which I'll probably play aggressively on that lake that I developed. Unless anything drastically changes on board. Gonna block me off, it doesn't really matter. He's actually just giving me more land to move on with my Gemshell. I do have Herald, I do have Flame Burst Herald +1 as an option. But yeah, let's take this. Let's see what we get. Even better. So this way we're not giving our opponent any Faeria by clearing the Brigand, which is very important. You know, our opponent's already on 6 Faeria, 9. He can +1 into Garadan now. But then I can just flower the Garadan and push 6 damage. Now, one thing S and Lizard have told me about this list, don't be afraid to chuck a Gift of Steel on your Tortoise to push 9 damage, because you have the opportunity to copy Flame Burst with the Gemshell Tortoise. So I have Grappling Hook. This is really funny. So I can shoot this, get to double collect, move up, play another Crystal Flower, and take the 6 to face. Take a Faeria. Why not? So he has a Flame Burst, but that's all that's going to happen this turn. Move this into double collection. Play a Herald on this spot. Speak of the Devil. Actually, we're going to continue to apply pressure. Our opponent is very Faeria starved right now. Removal is going to come at a price. Could just slot a Ground Shaker there. I have another Crystal Flower, so it's not going to do a lot, unfortunately. But it does hit this free, and this can hit this free, and it's a bit of a snowball effect. But like I said, it doesn't really matter. And keep in mind that this Crystal Flower is a copy of the one that just opened. So I still have, this one was drawn organically, this one was drawn organically, this one was copied. So I still have another Crystal Flower in my deck. +1 Firestorm. Not going to be enough. And that is going to be it. So a victory for the Combat Tortoise deck. And that kind of gives you an idea of how the deck plays. Like I said, I've played this deck quite a lot in the past, especially when S and Lizard developed the deck, they shared it with me on stream. I got to play it a fair amount. And this is kind of how the games go. You fight in double collection, you play a gem shell quite aggressively, you try and push a lot of damage, and then try and burst them down a little later on. Alright guys, into our last match. Let's see if I can go to 0 with this gem shell tortoise. And it's going to be a run back with Rundong. He beat us when we were playing the red combat with 3 wishes. So this deck might do a little better, might do a little worse, I'm not too sure. Depends if he's still playing. He was playing casual with the 3 wishes before. This time he might be playing a different deck now that he's on ranked. You might notice I have an extra star. I did have another opponent lined up, but he went AFK, so I had to just run that match out. Just had to keep hitting him in the face until he lost. I had to make my way up there. We're kind of a slow land progression deck. So if I win this game, I'm going to be on a win streak. It's going to be a forest to start things off. Into a desert. Into a Skyak. Now, Skyaks did feature in the previous list that was run by Dong. So we can actually do this. And go for the boss instead of the herald, and simply because I want to get value out of this. I want to gain some Faeria if I can. So this time we've learned from our mistakes. We need to keep the Garadan, we need to keep the Firestorm ready for these Skyak turns. This might retreat. This might stick around. I'm not sure. I haven't given much away by going for the mountain here. My opponent's probably just convinced I'm playing red combat again, whereas actually I'm playing a different deck. Now, land development strategies can deceive your opponent. Like this land development and creature development indicates that I'm playing red combat, whereas I'm actually playing red-blue combat. Alright, let's move everyone up. So the lake now, Rundong might be thinking, oh, okay, so a lake's came down. What else is in this list? Lake to take the axe grinder spot. Into an octopus, which will be a 5/5. Yep. 5/5 octopus. I'm actually going to take value on this first. We'll go for a mountain. Well, we could go for a lake here, actually. Lake here is pretty good. Play the Herald and retreat and pass. So we have the Flame Burst to finish this off if he decides to take the boss. But if he hits the boss now, I've gained 4 Faeria from combat, which means this costs me 1. That's how powerful this card is. Might be a Garadan, actually. Garadan here would be pretty good. Yeah, this is going to be a Garadan. Ouch. That's rough. Lined up a really nice Garadan there. But we have the Crystal Flower to keep him in check. We'll stick it here. And then next turn we can go for the tortoise in the middle. And we're both fighting for this well. Last time when we played, Run actually split off to the right-hand side because of the Battletoads opener. Whereas this time, it's been far more aggressive. I'm going to try and just block us off with lands, which is fine. Oh, nice. Very nice. Okay, so I'm happy to take an axe grinder here. Just as a backup, contingency plan in case this big guy gets taken out. Could have played it here to double neutral. Actually, that wasn't a bad line either. Just playing it here, sticking it here, moving up, double neutral, and then I have aggressive lands potentially going on to this side of the board. I actually want to draw these as much as possible. If I can get all of these within my next 5 to 10 cards, I'd be very happy. quicker I get value from these, the better off I am. Oh, very nice. Sunken Tower. We'll take a draw. And we'll take the other axe grinder by here. So there's not going to be another Garadan. Garadan is locked away in his prison. Firestorm could potentially come down, but I doubt it. I don't really think that Three Wishes has the luxury of running a Firestorm. Garadan's only 2 mountains. Firestorm is 3 mountains. That's a whole extra mountain you need to build. Could see a whale this turn. There's enough. Oh no, actually, we're a little bit off a whale. We're 2 lands away from. No, actually, no. No, a whale could come down this turn. What am I talking about? He has 7 special lands, so yeah, whale could be the option. So move here. Take the double neutral. Move up, and then we'll pass. Get an aggressive mountain on that well, the top right hand well, and then we can start applying pressure. But the land isn't taken here, or this isn't cleared. We have the opportunity to move Sunken Tower. Oh, it looks like he's going to play a little aggressively as well. He has a lot of cards in hand, a lot of Faeria to work with. Might just see a Three Wishes come down after playing a couple of creatures. Octopus, feed. No feed. Okay. So Garadan's showing up to the party next turn. I'm gonna block him with a Sunken Tower. Let's get the orb hit in. Take a mountain, or we'll take a cipher. Oh, we could actually take a boss instead. I wonder if he has creation. He has 3 lakes. There's potential of there is a potential of a creation, so I think I'll take boss. We'll move this up over here. You can come and take value. You can actually take value here. But I don't mind, to be honest. I don't really care. I'm a little afraid of creation, actually. Creation would be a disaster. Crystal Flower is such a good check. It was such a good check to Garadan on that turn. So he's gonna... Yeah, here we go. Creation time. There shouldn't be another AoE. I mean, we can clear the tortoise now, but hopefully my boss lives. My boss lives. I'm in a happy place. I can gift. Hit face. Play Cipher. Play Brigand. Oh wow, going for some heals as well. This is an interesting game. It's very hard to read what my opponent's up to. Sorry about that. I'm actually doing card spotlight, but to make things quicker and easier, I just said yes. Crystal Flower, okay. How do we make this work? Move. Gift. Hit for 6. Take the Cipher. Oh, I've got a plan. So we're removing the Garadan that can challenge our creatures. We want to kill Rungdong, sorry, pretty soon. We don't want to We don't want to give him too much time. He is a control deck. We're quite controlling as well, but we're not as slow and as greedy as a Wish deck. We need to seize an opportunity to win the game as soon as possible. Now another creation could come down, but Garadan still costs 5 after a creation. Moving back. Is it mobility? Oh, more heals. No, power up to kill the boss. That's fair. Into a Frogify. Okay. Not a good draw. But to be honest, I don't mind just going... Ah, man. We don't get punished that hard, actually, because double creation into Garadan again costs too much. So we're just going to try and apply as much pressure as possible with the Brigands. I'm not sure how this is gonna go. I'm a little nervous. Like I feel like I can probably win, but I have no idea what could come down. If like an octopus comes down, I'm in a bit of trouble. Frog Tosser's pretty miserable as well. Not gonna lie. Although I do have Firestorm. Into Flame Burst. I can clear the entire board. At the cost of 3 damage going to the orb. Oof, that's a tough decision to make. I could take a draw, it's a little riskier. Then I can't play Axe Grinder. So I think I just hit, or I hit here. I play the Firestorm. Then I +1 into Axe Grinder. So I'm still Faeria starving my opponent. I'm just kind of throwing my Brigand to the Garadan. Garadan can eat Brigand. I still gain Faeria back. So that's pretty good for me. I have Flame Burst now with the Axe Grinder. Potential lethal setup if I draw more damage. And this actually brings me closer to something like a double Flame Burst lethal. Garadan could go for Faeria here, +1. Could +1 into the Frog Tosser, but the problem there is the Frog Tosser will actually create a frog here unless there's land built. But if you build land, you can't Frog Tosser. It's a very difficult decision, like retreat, land. Well, there's no point. If you're going to retreat and collect, there's no point building the land. You're going to get the frog here anyway. So you could actually just trade, then Frog Tosser, and have those trade off, and then the frog will actually summon here instead. Our failed experiment's nice because now you get to play this for 2 Faeria. It's going to die anyway, so you gain a bit of value and you start blocking the face with the Battletoad. So I want to draw a Cypher's Wrath now. I just make things a little more awkward. I should do another Firestorm. Maybe I put an extra one in by accident. Oh, for Goro. Very nice draw. And get that in. Put 3-5 down. Interestingly, it was put here. I guess it wants the flexibility of being able to defend if I play anything aggressive. Hopefully this is not another Runin's Guidance. I'm kind of banking on Flame Bursts to win the game for me now. It's a Brigand. I need to move this Gyarados somewhere. Take a draw. It's a boss. Let's play the boss. And I'm gonna move this here. And we'll pass. Trying to get some value out of this, maybe relieve some pressure. I could have actually just passed there. That was an option too. But I desperately need to draw more firepower. Feed? Oh, I forgot about the Sky Whales, guys. Oh no. Oh no. I completely forgot about them. I was so distracted by everything else. I should have played anything. I should have passed. I went for the double flame, for the triple flame burst lethal. Oh, if I draw a flame burst now. He didn't move the Gyarados. There's still hope, guys. There's still hope. Take 12. Oh, that was a big mistake by me playing that boss. I shouldn't have played anything. Because then I could just Firestorm this turn. I could have Firestorm Cypher's Wrath if I wanted to relieve pressure. Oh, what a tense game this has been. Oh my goodness. What else is there? Come on. Show me the money. Mountain. Any healing now I've lost. Aurora? Oh no, no, no! Don't have a Flame Burst. I guess it doesn't matter anyway, because I either win next turn or I lose next turn. Oh. Oh. If I draw... Ah, no, I won't have enough Faeria. If I had one more... No, I need 2 more Faeria to get the Gem Shell. Did I have any Flame Burst left? Maybe I didn't even have any left. I can't remember. This game's gone on so long. Well, let's see what we would have drawn. Not a Flame Burst. So well played! Defeating me once again with this quad color. I don't think 3 Wishes is even in this deck. I think it just uses a lot of different tools from all the colors. But well played. I'll throw the Surrender there. And yeah, we went 1-1 with each deck, and I think I'm pretty happy with that. It was only Rundong who stopped us from gaining the other victories, but well played to him. That wraps up this episode of Oversky Card Spotlight featuring Underground Boss and 2 decks which have a home for him. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We had some pretty tense matches against that quad color deck from Rundong. And yeah, I think you should try both decks out. Red Combat Control if you want to climb the ladder, and the Tortoise deck if you want something a bit spicy. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, drop a subscribe to keep up to date of when our content goes live. So until next time, guys, take care and enjoy Underground Boss.